It's 9:15, 9:15. Tim Byrd, the Byrdman's Get Up and Go show, and Tom Pearson. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Welcome to our radio station, and we're glad to have you here. And you're doing incredible things over at the Armory Art Center. Now, what a history that place has. You know, dating back to a well-known attorney in town, Bob Montgomery. I remember his thick Southern accent and his commitment to the Armory Art Center. But let's talk about the history just real quick before we get into some fun stuff.
Oh, there's a long history.
Well, I mean, can we hit some highlights?
Yeah, we can hit some highlights. Well, Armory's been in existence now 34 years.
34?
Yeah, can you believe that? And back in the day when the Norton Museum decided to do away with the art school, Bob Montgomery said, well, what are we going to do with all these art teachers? And so Bob found the old National Guard Armory that when the National Guard had moved out to the new building on Gun Club Road,
yes,
the building was dilapidated, and so Bob put the first funds toward restoring the place, and he and Mary just took it on as a project.
Yeah,
and brought those teachers.
Made it
they
happen.
made it. They made it, and they brought all the other people along, and so they restored the main building, and then the second building, which is now our state-of-the-art ceramic studio, was the motor pool building. So that's where they repaired the tanks and the Jeeps. And And so that's all been converted into a state-of-the-art studio now. It's huge.
Wow.
So those two buildings are now on the National Historic Register because they were WPA constructed back in the day.
Wow. You know, when I first heard that, I thought, what does the Armory have to do with art? You know, and so that before I realized what the vision was. You know, I was just saying, what is this? And so, but what a cool thing to imagine.
It is.
To dream up and then make happen.
Exactly. And there are two Armory art centers in the country, one in Pasadena and one in West Palm Beach.
You guys should be sister cities.
Yeah, exactly.
In exchange somehow. Well, Tom, there's a lot going on at the Armory Art Center. You've been there now how long?
4.5 years.
So you have a deep resume, and we're going to touch on that in a minute. But first and foremost, tell us what's some of the exciting things that are going on at the Armory Art Center.
Well, of course, the Armory is always committed itself to high quality teaching of art.
Yeah,
drawing and painting and sculpture and you know all the traditional art areas. But we also have now expanded, and we're into doing many other things, and we have classes for kids for animation, and we have virtual reality things going on, and
animation. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're tickling my creative button. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
And Photoshop, and you know, we teach the classes not only for all ages. So we teach beginning classes, beginning drawing classes, beginning pottery classes and wheel classes, jewelry making and metalsmithing. We have one of the finest jewelry studios in Florida.
Oh my goodness.
And so we have 55,000 square feet.
That's a lot to fill.
And we have studios and we teach. So we have Mommy and Me classes. So for the young ones.
So when you say mommy and me, so
mommy brings the little toddler in, and they can experience creativity. We have a teacher that works with the kids. And
so let me ask you. So if mommy's taking an art class, then they can get maybe some crayons and a coloring book for the little one or something.
No, mommy sits beside the little one.
Oh,
and they work together because they're small. So we teach all the way up to octogenarians, and we have some people that have been taking classes there for years, and they just love being there. And it's the camaraderie too.
So the art classes, and I guess also virtual, right?
Yes, we have. So, and since COVID, we went on virtual. We've discovered there's an audience there, an international audience for us, and so we're actually continuing now with the virtual.
Don't mean this is a gotcha question. Any idea what the farthest away international spot was?
Well, the furthest that I know of right at presently was Canada, but we're about to start with a teacher that's going to be teaching from Australia.
Whoa, this is amazing. Now, we've just barely started scratching the surface a little bit, but Tom Pearson is our guest. He is the executive director and CEO of the Armory Art Center. And we have to get back to music here for a few minutes. And we're going to talk about your love of music. That's also an artistic expression with Tom Pearson, our special guest this morning. Right now, it's BTO. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's 9:20 now. Today, Tom Pearson, the Executive Director and CEO of the Armory Art Center. There's lots going on, and they are about to debut with an exhibition, a very special one. And we're going to take a short break, come back and talk to Tom Pearson about an exhibition that's going to take place at the Armory Art Center. It's 9:27 now. All right, that's great. Right down the street here, as a matter of fact. Oldies 95.9 and 106.9. We are back with our special in-studio guest today. We're very honored to have with us Tom Pearson, who is the Executive Director and CEO of the Armory Art Center. Now, I have a question because I know you guys are preparing for a really special exhibit. So what is the protocol for taking in an art exhibition in this age of Corona?
Well, the title of the exhibition is We're All Wearing Masks Now.
Yes,
that's the title of the exhibition, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But to answer your question, this will be our first exhibition after reopening, after shutting down March 12th.
Wow.
And so we're having to, as everyone else, reinvent ourselves for this new normal.
Yeah.
So what we're asking people to do is to go online if possible and let us know you're coming and register for
like an RSVP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if not, you can still show up. But we will, as of everything else we do at the Armory now, is that we are taking temperatures as people enter.
Right.
We're requiring masks, and we're social distancing.
Got it.
And so Bucan nonprofit,
The restaurant,
yeah.
on the
And now they have the nonprofit. They've been wonderful about serving free food to essential workers and people that have needed food. And they're going to be there, and they're going to be serving too, and we're going to be honoring them. And we want to make sure that people understand that they're being honored too, as well as the essential workers. But as people come in, we're only the reception area will be outside and be open. But as people enter, we're going to only allow 50 in the exhibit at a time.
Yes.
And we have certain traffic patterns that people will follow.
Got it.
And so we're hoping to keep people safely social distanced, and this will be our new normal, I guess.
It sounds like you've got it all well thought out, and a lot of time went into that. So it sounds like there's going to be a nice flow, and there's refreshments for the folks outside before they come inside and all like that. So it sounds like it's down pat to me. So tell me a little bit about our artist here.
Well, Mark Cohen is he's an instructor for us,
yes.
But also Mark takes classes.
Interesting.
And so he's an accomplished artist and printmaker, but he continues to expand his art by taking classes in other areas. And so we had just opened up and we had the summer classes going on. We only had 8 people in a class because of social distancing.
Right.
Well, Mark works on huge canvases, larger than your walls.
Wow.
And Mark was in class working, and so we converted the exhibition area to a classroom so that people would social distance and have plenty of room. Well, Mark was taking up all of the walls in the exhibition area.
And he needed more room, I guess, too.
And each time I would walk through, I was seeing that Mark was his theme was that he was working on medical personnel and people that were first responders, and in that vein, and he was actually honoring them in his art.
Nice.
And it was the people wearing masks, the medical personnel that had been working all day. You could tell, and they took their mask off, and they had bruises under their face and so forth. And so I thought, this is perfect for us to honor our first responders and the people that have been putting their lives on the line for us in our community.
Yeah.
And so Mark has a series of 8 of these huge canvases that he will have on exhibit. And so the exhibit will be, we're opening up Friday the 25th, and the reception is from 5 to 7.
Right.
And then we will have the exhibit open until October 3rd, and it will be every day from 10 to 3, even this coming Saturday and Sunday. We're not usually open on Sunday.
Yes.
And we will be open on Sunday from 10 to 3 also.
Wow.
And then the exhibit will close October 3rd.
Wow, that sounds like a nice long run, and especially the way you've organized this whole thing. It sounds like it's going to be super successful. So I'm sure you guys are going to extend your invitations to all the essential workers from the county. I
Exactly.
guess.
We've contacted all of the hospitals and medical personnel that we can. So we want to have an open invitation for everyone to come and be honored with this. There's a couple of special stories with some of the drawings, but one of the stories is that one of the workers that is a medical professional that I guess this was Mark's student's daughter who worked in Philadelphia, and she was working at 2 different hospitals.
Oh, my.
And so that's the only personal connection I think there is to one, but everything were conceptual except for this one, and that was taken from a photo.
Wow. Wow. Sounds like he went to great pains trying to capture the authenticity of the moment, meaning these months.
Exactly.
You know, that's a pretty gigantic moment, too. Wow. So this is the sort of coming back.
This is our first entree
exhibit.
back into the exhibition world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so we do have to get back to the music for a couple of minutes here.
Okay.
But you have some music background as an art instructor and you've been in charge of art organizations and all of that, but you also express yourself musically as well. So it makes sense that you're here with us this morning. We're going to play one of your favorites right now. It's Paul Revere and the Raiders with Kicks. 9:46, 14 minutes before the top of the hour. Tim Byrd, the Byrdman, with Tom Pearson, our special guest today, Executive Director and CEO of the Armory Arts Center. Now, you have quite a long list of credentials. So I'm just going to say, pick one that's a pretty special memory and a fun memory for you and share that with us if you would, please.
Oh, wow. What area do you want me to pull from?
It could be one of your choice. I mean, just because you know your life and situation better than I do.
Well, real quickly, some of this is just kind of boring, but, I was a high school band director for 20 years.
Wow.
That was my previous,
Wow.
career, and then I became the arts administrator at the school district, Palm Beach County, and from here I went to run the state arts agency in Mississippi. So I got to help develop the Blues Trail in Mississippi, and that was a fun gig.
I bet.
And being able to meet all the blues guys.
I'm a blues guy.
Yeah.
I've seen Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf in person before.
I mean, seeing all those guys and going to all the honky tonks. So we put the markers at all the honky tonks and the birthplaces, and seeing Robert Johnson's house being moved to be restored.
Oh, my. That's huge.
Lots of fun things to do. And the really cool thing I got to do that was so unexpected was I was invited to the White House to represent all the state arts agencies for the National Endowment Awards.
Nice.
That was cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So was it what you thought it would be, or did it exceed, or was it... what was it like?
Well, getting in was the big deal, and you have to send your credentials ahead of time. And, as you go in, you have like 10 checks before you get in the door. Then once you're in, you kind of have not a free run of the place, but it was, you have the rooms with the receptions, and you could walk through the green room and the red room and the blue room. And, and
nice.
you get to see the first lady at a little distance, and and so forth. But it was a good experience, and So
were you pinching yourself?
Yeah.
So those pinch yourself
really
moments.
Cool. But the really pinching myself, I think, though, getting back to the blues guys, because that's the music I grew up with. So those were the cool guys that I got. Some of the names that
B.B. King.
Yeah, B.B. King.
You got to meet him.
Yeah. And so and the B.B. King Museum was awesome because they had just acquired the tour bus. They got it back to the museum, and I was one of the first people to get on it. And BB had just been on the bus and put duct tape on all the seats and wrote people's names. They wrote the names of where they sat.
Wow.
And I got to go in the back of the bus and sit where BB sat.
Oh, man, that's tremendous. I hope you took pictures.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There
when
was
you're in the moment, you don't think about taking pictures.
I know. It was the same thing in my whole life and career. I think back to all the people I was around and places I went and things that I was exposed to and got to do. And I didn't take pictures.
Yeah.
So unless somebody else was there, could you send me that picture, please?
Yeah.
So, I can relate to that. These days, it's super easy. So we're going to be doing that as well.
So I'm still playing rock and roll.
So I was going to say, musical expression is also a form of art.
Yeah.
So
it is. I've been an arts administrator for over 25 years, but my background is actually, my first instrument was guitar.
Really?
And, wound up with 2 degrees in music. But doing the arts administration, it's all creativity, and it's all dealing with the administrative part of keeping the creativity alive.
I'm going to throw out an idea.
What?
You don't ever have to even follow up if it doesn't resonate with you. Maybe we should collaborate on a musical exhibition of different kinds of rock and roll.
I've already thought of this. So,
of course.
All right, let's talk about it later.
All right.
I love it.
I would love to be involved or help out or whatever the case may be.
I think the visual and music exhibition would be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Tom Pearson. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me on the show.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of the exhibition that opens on Friday. And
that's this Friday?
That's this Friday from
5
o'clock to 7 o'clock. And reception's outside. And come and pay homage to our first responders and Mark Cohen's exhibit.
How many weeks will that be now?
Okay,
total?
that's we go to October 3rd, so it's not a long run.
Yeah,
but
long enough.
This is our first experiment in the new COVID era. So
I have a feeling it's going to be a big success for you. I wish that for you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Tim.
absolutely. Tom Pearson, man, oh man, that must have been fun. I'm going to come. I'm coming to the Armory Arts Center because a lot of that's calling my name. It's 9:51 now. This is Chicago. People talk about the old days. Well, yesterday could be the old days as far as we're concerned. This is why we're playing this one. Hot song from one of the great brass bands, Chicago.